Alright, starting off day 3, shoulders. This is one of my favorite muscle groups to train. We're starting off with a seated shoulder press, and I'm having a sit because it really cuts off the body's temptation to swing the weight or use momentum from the lower body. We really want to isolate the shoulders. So sitting up nice and tall, you're going to press the weights up and over your head and then bring them down nice and controlled. As I bring the weights up, I think about pressing through my elbows and squeezing through my shoulders. Even though my hands are grabbing onto the weights, I'm thinking about the movement originating from my shoulder and pushing through my elbow. As I bring the weights up, you can see I bring the weights slightly together over the top of my head, and when I come back down, I open up and bring the weight slightly out. This is so you can get a little bit more of a contraction in your shoulder as you press up. You're also going to notice I don't lock my elbows at the top of this movement. I press up only to about 95% before I come back down again to eye level. This is because I want to keep the isolation in my shoulder throughout the entire movement. If I press up and lock my elbows at the top, I'm actually getting a rest. And it's not that that's wrong or incorrect, but for the purpose of this movement, we want to keep the tension in the shoulder throughout the whole exercise. Alright, moving on, we have lateral shoulder raises. This is one of my favorite exercises, and when you get it right, really helps build that nice rounded cap that you want in your shoulder. I used to do this exercise wrong for years, and I didn't even know, but that's why I couldn't build my shoulders for years. I used to lead with the dumbbell, wrists higher than my elbows. Sometimes I would just keep my arms completely locked, and that's not the best way to isolate and keep the tension in the shoulder. What you want to do is have a slight bend in your elbows so that when you raise your arms up to the sides, you can see the hands out of the corners of your eyes. Another big thing is thinking about pulling through your elbow. Your elbows should be higher than your wrists. Lead with the elbow, bringing the arm up to shoulder height, squeezing the medial delt, and then bringing it down nice and controlled. Front raises have a really similar technique. The elbows are slightly bent. Again, you're leading up now frontwards with your elbow, really keeping your elbows and wrists almost at the same height. You don't want the wrists to be significantly higher than the elbows. If you do, you're going to be completely compensating using the wrong muscles. Try relaxing your forearms as much as you can and think about the front of your shoulder, bringing the weight up and controlling it down. Controlling it down is also a big part of this movement. Moving on to rear delt flies. This position's a little bit more difficult when you do it with dumbbells instead of a machine, but it is so effective that when you do it right, your shoulders get the craziest pump at the back. It's awesome. Anytime you see me in this position, I'm sticking my hips back. I'm not leaning forward. I push my hips backwards behind me, and I keep a nice flat back. That is the starting form. This is basically a lateral raise, except the angle of my body allows me to hit my rear delts and not my medial delts. Two biggest keys for this exercise is to lead with the point of your elbow up towards the ceiling, and when you bring the weights down, you don't want to bring them down close to your body. You want to bring them slightly out in front of you. This really allows you to keep the tension in the rear delt throughout the entire movement and doesn't let it get a break. Pick lightweight for this so you can really get that mind-muscle connection and connect with what I'm talking about. Awesome, day 3 is complete. Let me know what you think. Thanks.